Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Stop having boring date conversations. First dates are no excuse for a boring date conversation. You know, I have 33 questions. So there's right off the bat, if you've been here before, you know where to find some great first date questions. And I'm sure that's going to be one of my suggestions here. But I have 5 more or 4 more. I don't know. Let's talk about how to keep those first date conversations from boring somebody, the other person, you. Sometimes I felt like I was boring myself to tears on first dates because it just felt the other person wanted to drag me into that whole interview thing. If you want to know how to avoid having the same monotonous, boring, dulled first date conversations, stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Who cares if they have brothers and sisters and where they grew up and where they went to school and what they majored in college and their family stuff and jobs? If you don't even like them, who cares about all that stuff? You may think at the end of that date, oh my God, thank goodness I was out of there. Red flags all over. Or the third thing they said was a total deal breaker for me. But I was kind and I made the best of it and thought, oh, this is a nice person. I should enjoy their company. But I knew right away they weren't a match for me. That could happen. And you spent time hearing all about their college major or their siblings growing up. Why would you torture yourself like that? So no, let's not do that typical interview style of boring questions where it feels more like somebody is sitting, I'm looking for a pen, with a checklist going, check, they went to school, they majored in something I think is practical, what's their favorite color? I mean, that kind of stuff could just, so I've heard people ask that question and it's mind-boggling. Skip the interview. There's other ways to have conversations on a first date. Number 2, this would be one way. Ask open-ended questions. Try that. Instead of questions that could be answered with yes or no, or they're about something in particular that you really don't even care about, ask instead an open-ended question about something that would be interesting to you, whether you want to see this person ever again or not. You said in your dating profile that you love traveling. Do you have any suggestions on where I should go on my next international trip, or any places you've been that I should avoid because you have a crazy horror story? In fact, share your horror story with me. I love to hear about vacations gone wrong. I mean, there's some humor and it's silly, but at least you're not getting, I have 2 older brothers, we're 3 years apart, except my sister's 5 years younger. Ugh. Number 3, when you're on a topic and you have a good question and you're interested in the answer, but it's a little short, ask a follow-up question. It's a genius move. Hear me always on your shoulder during these date conversations saying, ask a follow-up question. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping you are all asking follow-up questions. If they say, yeah, I went through some changes last year. I changed where I moved and I found a new job, so I'm in a much better place. Ask the question, what is the job that you got? Is it in the same field? What made you pick that? Were you looking for that job, or how did you come upon it? Do you work from home? Do you have to go into the office? How are the people you work with? What's the culture of this job? What do you like best about it? Does this job make you feel like you're fulfilling some of your potential? There's a million things you could ask about that job, and they said they moved. Oh, did you switch neighborhoods? Are you enjoying this apartment more than your last place? Oh, you bought a house? Oh my gosh, so many follow-up questions there. Was it ready to move in, or did you have work to do? What made you decide to enter the real estate market? Did you know how to go about doing that on your own, or did you have somebody help guide you through that process? Lots of follow-up questions. If you're having lunch, you can ask follow-up questions about what they freaking ordered for their meal. Oh, I noticed you ordered fish. I'm really trying to cut back on red meat. Or do you consider yourself a healthy eater? What kind of stuff do you make for yourself for dinner, let's say? Number 4, the questions and answers can get a little monotonous if it's not picking up and going somewhere, if there's no tangents driving you into stories and sharing of ideas and opinions and thoughts. Ask for a story. Don't wait for it to come about naturally. Just come right out and ask for a great story. Tell me a little bit about, let's pick their jobs, the job section of their life. Tell me a little bit about how you decided to take the job you're currently in. What are the things about your job that really make you want to get up in the morning and show up for this place you work? If it's about their family, how often do you get to spend time together as an entire family? You tell me a story about the last time you were all together. If it's about how they spend their free time, can you tell me a little tale about the best Saturday that you've had in the last 6 months? I would love to hear a story about what you and your friends have done recently that you thought was really adventurous of you. And then, of course, be prepared with stories of your own. There are stories that you do happen to share over and over again. Your friends have all heard them, but this person hasn't. Pull out one of those stories and drop it into the conversation and use my cool little segue, my little magical segue. Do you know it? You missed that episode? Something you just said reminded me about the time, and then pop it right in. The story that really tells a little bit about you that they wouldn't know otherwise. Makes you laugh, or it shares a bit of your sense of humor maybe. Be ready with a few stories of your own that you can drop into the conversation. Should it be heading towards Boredomville, or you really just get stuck and don't know what to ask because you've been bombarded with one-off questions? Go into story mode in that way and save this conversation before it dooms the whole date. And then finally, I told you already I was going to get to it, but I have a list of 33 great questions for dates. I don't suggest you use all of them at one time. They'll last you a good 6 months of getting to know this person if you meter them out correctly. But drop one or two of them in. You can even gamify it and say, hey, I have a couple questions I think would be like fun to take turns answering. You up for a little deep dive into getting to know each other? And then perhaps you've memorized one or two, or you have a list in your phone, or you've texted yourself the two you know you want to ask of this particular person. And hopefully those will segue into something that just resembles sharing bits of who you are and stories, tales, the story of you perhaps. And then also don't forget, you can always use your surroundings should you get stuck and not want to keep diving into the deeper questions. You're finished with a couple of those. Look around and use your surroundings to figure out what you can talk about. The decor, the type of restaurant they are, how long they've been here, people who are also in the restaurant. Do they know each other? Does it look like they are also on a first date? Do you think people can tell we're on a first date? I don't want you talking about dating other dates because that gets a little meta, but to shine the spotlight on the two of you and wonder what people would think if they were looking from the outside. Do we look like we've known each other for a while? I feel like I've known you for a long time. You're really easy to talk to. Hopefully that's the case. I wish that for you. I hope that for you, that all of your dates make it feel like you've known this person a long time and the conversation flows easily, because those are the dates that lead to second dates for sure. And I want more of those in your life if you're out there dating. Appreciate you stopping by today, and I hope you found that interesting. Oh, look it's my mom. She says, thumbs up. Let's do that. I don't know what she's saying. I asked her to do that, so she's just doing it. I don't know if she knew what she was doing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the ring bell so that you're notified every time I have a new episode go live here on YouTube, and I'll look forward to that. Until next time, have a good one.